Hey there! So, let's talk about three little words that can cause a whole lot of confusion. Want, would like, and wish. They seem so close, don't they? But you know what? Picking the right one can make all the difference between sounding super friendly and maybe a little bit rude. Let's get this figured out.
Okay, look at this sentence. I want coffee. You've probably said this like 1,000 times. Maybe you even said it this morning. And here's the thing. Grammatically, it's 100% perfect. So what's the big deal? Well, the problem isn't about grammar at all. It's about something else.
Right. That's the real question. In certain situations, like when you're ordering at a cafe or asking someone for something, saying I want can come across as a little demanding. It's not technically wrong, but it might not be the vibe you're going for. It all comes down to those subtle differences in tone.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at why this mix-up even matters. Then we'll dive into each word one by one. We'll even tackle some of that tricky wish grammar. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how it all works in the real world. Sound good?
So why do we need to care about this? Well, picture this. You're in a nice, friendly coffee shop. If you say, I want a coffee, it almost feels like you're giving an order. But if you say, I'd like a coffee? Now that sounds like a polite request. It's such a tiny change, but believe me, it makes a huge difference in how people hear you.
And really, that's what this is all about. Our goal isn't just about being correct in a textbook kind of way. It's about communicating effectively. You know, sounding natural, being polite, and actually connecting with people. That's the real win.
All right, let's kick things off with our first word, and it's probably the one you use the most, want.
Think of want as your most direct tool. It's simple, it's clear, and it gets right to the point. When you use want, you're not really adding any extra fluff or politeness. You're just stating a fact about what you desire.
For instance, it's totally normal to tell your friend, I want to sleep, or to think to yourself, I really want a new phone. But, and this is a big but, look at that warning. When you're talking to a waiter or a cashier, saying I want can easily sound like you're giving them an order.
So, if want can sometimes be a bit too strong, what's the alternative? Well, let me introduce you to its much more polite cousin, would like.
I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. Would like is basically want all dressed up for a fancy dinner. It's expressing the exact same desire, just in a much softer, more respectful package. This should be your go-to phrase for most public situations, for sure.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly, right? I want a sandwich. That's a direct desire. I'd like a sandwich. That's a polite desire. It means the same thing, but it feels completely different. And you will hear native speakers say I'd, as in I'd like, all the time. Okay, so we've got want for our direct desires and would like for polite requests. Now, let's talk about wish, because this one is in a whole different category. We're leaving the world of reality and jumping straight into the world of dreams and imagination.
Here is the absolute key to understanding wish. It's for things that are not real right now. We pull this word out for impossible dreams, for things we can't have, or for situations we desperately want to change but just can't. These examples are perfect. You can't actually fly, right? So you say, I wish I could. You can't just invent more hours in the day. So I wish I had more time. See? These are not simple requests you can make at a coffee shop. They're wishes for a totally different reality.
Okay, time to roll up our sleeves and get into the grammar of wish. Now, this is where a lot of people get tripped up, but I promise there's a pattern to it. Once you see it, it's going to click. Let's break this down.
Okay, look closely here because this is the big secret. When we make a wish about a situation that's happening right now in the present, we use wish plus the simple past tense. I know it feels a little weird, right? The reality is I don't have time, but the wish is I wish I had time. That little jump to the past tense is our secret code that signals we're talking about something that isn't real.
Now here's our second big wish structure. We use wish plus would when we're feeling annoyed or frustrated and we want something or someone else to change their behavior. This is basically your go-to phrase for complaining. And these are just perfect examples of that. You can't control the weather, so you complain, ugh, I wish the rain would stop. You're frustrated with your neighbor's loud party, I wish he would turn down the music. That I wish you would structure is the classic way to express that kind of frustration.
Okay, we've covered the theory and all the rules. But, knowing the rules is one thing, seeing them in action is another. So let's see how all of this plays out in a totally normal day. So, let's follow this guy, Daniel.
He works in a busy office. By listening to his thoughts and what he says out loud, we can get a really clear picture of when to use each of these words.
Okay, check out how Daniel's language shifts with the situation. First, he's at his desk, just daydreaming about something that feels impossible right now. So he thinks, I wish I could travel the world. Then he gets practical and makes a real plan. I'd like to take a vacation next year. And finally, after a long, hard week, he knows exactly what he wants. A simple, direct desire. I want pizza tonight. See how each word fits the moment perfectly? So here it is, all laid out for you, the ultimate cheat sheet. Want is for your direct desires. Would like is for polite requests and plans. And wish is for all those unreal, imaginary situations. If you only remember one thing from all this, make it this table.
And now it's over to you, because honestly, the only way to really make this stuff stick is to actually use it. So take a second and think, what do you want to do right now? What would you like to have for dinner? And what's something you wish were different? Answering those questions for yourself is the absolute best way to lock this in.